I believe my old father used to be here. Oh, God. I know who's going to be here? First one going to be here. NRTV. You're a very naughty boy. You've got a few things wrong, buddy boy. Come in. Come on, I'll show you how my father used to drive this train. Would you like to hold the camera for me? Here we go. Can you hold that for me like that? Can you see me all right?
Yep.
Right. That's your brake. And you used to put the lever in like that, couple it in, work your brake. Down here was a tap. You want to move your hand up and down and just follow me. Right, that's your old wiper blade. You used to turn that there. There's your horn, which is a loud one. Sorry, a soft one. This one here was right, like that. Here you got idle, 1/3, 2/3, full throttle. This is your key for forward and reverse. So you got reverse, off, forward, and you pull the key up and take it out, and therefore then nobody can overtake the train. Over here we've got all our little relay switches, circuit breakers, which an RTV would have certainly played with. Right, we've got sander 1, sander 2, which puts sand on the train track, and you push like that, and it pushes the sand down on the wheels so the wheels don't slip on the track. There's your bell, bring, which is this. Right, you all heard a bell before. Right, then we've got the stop button to stop the engine. Then we've got the start button to start the engine. And then we've got engine number 1, engine number 2. So you put on engine number 1, start it up. Put on engine number 2, start it up with the air starter. And then when you want to stop it, you put on engine number 1, hold it in till it stops. Engine number 2, hold it in till it stops. Then we've got tail light, left, red, tail light, left, white, tail light, right, red, tail light, right, white, and then you've got middle, right, red and white in the middle up the top. Headlights over here, headlight off, headlight on, bright and dim. And then over here we've got the interior light, which is cab light, which is that one, and the guard's light. So this one here was this one, and that one was that one over there. That's right, thank you. Panel lights would then turn on all these lights so you can see which all the air gauges come on. Then we have compartment light, which is the one out the door there. Well, actually, both actually, one's actually in here, sorry. Stop means something's gone wrong. EP brake means you had a brake failure, so you had to turn that on for emergency braking power. And then here you've got engine 1, reverse, trouble, forward, engine number 2. So these tachos would tell you the rev of the motor, and that's how you'd know what your motors were doing. So because you can't hear the motor because you're flying down the train tracks doing about whatever 115 kilometres an hour, you're not going to hear the motor. So you watch your tachos, and they used to always sit about between 10 and 12. That's where they used to sit on a good rev, full throttle. And then what you do is that you just simply click, 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 back to 1/3 or back to idle. And then you come into a station and you put your and hold the pressure on. And if I may, thank you very kindly. This here will be your air gauges. And you can see there, main brake reservoir and brake cylinder. So your reservoir is the big one out there in the room, and your brake cylinder is the one down underneath. And that's how you learnt what it was. Let's see, look, somebody's cut the pipe here because they took away this bloody copper here, see? There's still a bit of copper, just a bit mongrels. But anyway, the 622 is a number. And believe it or not, that was my father's handwriting. And my dad drew that. Unbelievable, I know. Because that was my school texter. And I was 12 years old, I'm now 61. So that's 50 years ago. My dad drew that up there with my little school texter, and he said, I'm sick and tired of wanting to know, bloody, blah, blah, blah. And that's my dad's handwriting. And if I actually drew the same two numbers, you see the similarity. Yeah, anyway. And days are gone, flying up there from Richmond to Riverstone. Anyway, so shall we go on? Oh, that's my great big camera. Look at it. I'm not even using it. Oh, see that brown chair over there? Want to have a laugh? You used to have a green chair there. A railway guard at Richmond turned around and said, I don't like sitting on that. So he brought that in there from his backyard. That's been sitting there since 1980. His name was Alec Crass, and he's still alive today. He's in his 80s. He said, my brown chair still in 622? I said, well, there you go, Alex. There's your brown chair, mate. It's still there. Because that was what the Richmond railway line was like. It was a, free-for-all railway line, Oh, yeah, there's your dip man's pedal. So if you take your foot off the pedal there, the train will stop. See? That's in case the train driver had a heart attack, his foot would fall off, then all the brakes would cut on and all the motors will turn off and the train will just come to a stop. It'll actually go back to idle. So, yeah, so that's walking around up in here. Anyway, let's get down for a walk through the train. I'm going to take the camera with me, so you don't want to be on camera. That's all right. That's your main air reserve for the brakes. That's the big air tank I was talking about. That's your breakdown box. That was your, so it says clockwise. That was for the gas cylinders, for the heaters. That's where they used to keep them. And somebody pitched them out of here. These are original seats I used to sit in when I was a kid. And there's a bit of a story actually. When I was a kid, I'm going to sit down for a sec. No way, I won't be it. Have a seat. I'll tell you something funny. There's a guy, train driver, by the name of Alf Polis, A-L-F, Polis, P-O-L-I-S. And he was a Polish migrant from World War II, and he was a Jew, and he survived the Nazis in World War II. Anyway, he came out to Australia. And he said to me one day as a kid, he said, oh, little me, homie, where are you going with that big long water pipe, he said, in a very broken Polish accent. And I said, I want to take it home down to Dad's at East Richmond. And of course, this train here is sitting at Riverstone, and on to the right of where the camera's now facing was a platform. And he says, I'll go down there, and he says, I'll undo those doors. Hey, Mr. Kid, how are you? I've got somebody on the live stream chat. True story. So he undoes the train driver's door down there in the middle of the train, opens it up, and he says, I'm going to lock the door on the left, the door on the right, and the door on the left and the right behind, halfway down, and lock the centre door. He said, I'll lock you in here. He said, now you take your great big long water pipe that I want for my CB radio. I was only 10 years old. No, 12 years old, because Mum died when I was 11, so I was 12. So this is exactly now 50 years ago. True story, right there in that very door. He opened the door up, and I walked around the back out there with my big long water pipe, and then he turned around and he said, right, you feed your water pipe in down there through that door, and my water pipe set right down here on this floor here. And he said, now you stay in this train, but he said, when I get going, he said, you make sure you shut that back door. He said, then when you get to East Richmond, he said, you jump out the back, because you can do that, you're a kid. And he said, you grab your water pipe and you pull it out that door down there where they are. And he said, all I want you to do, he said, you put the water pipe down on the tracks, you put your hand up there on the platform, and you give me a wave, and I'll give you three toots on the whistle. And he did, from the other carriage on the other end. He went, doop, doop, doop. And away he drove. And this train went across each Richmond level crossing with that back door there wide open, with the door on the left, the door on the right locked, the middle door locked, and the two doors left and right in the middle there locked. And people from Vineyard, Mulgrave, Windsor and Clarendon wonder why they couldn't get into this back carriage. This is going backwards, because little 12-year-old me had my great big water pipe in here, and it went from that door there to about halfway up the walkway here. There's a great big huge old-fashioned water pipe, and it was for my little CB radio as a kid, because our Polis knew my mother died when I was 11. So that's a true story. On 6/22, a little thing I did 50 years ago. A kind-hearted Jewish Polish guy who survived the Nazis, and he let me put my water pipe in there for me to go home and play with my CB radio when I was 12 years old. And then when he went down to Richmond, he just shut the door, he opened up all the doors, and nobody was the wiser. Because it was a Sunday afternoon, and nobody used to get on the train much, and the 5 people that did get on, they all end up trying the middle doors. Oh, can't get in that one, so they went to the front carriage, and away they went. So that's just something 50 years ago. That's why this train here at Tenterfield always be a part of my life, and it's always has been. Because Dad used to say, oh, I'm driving your train today, 6:22. And I'd come down after school, and I'd sit up the front there with Dad, and I'd do about 4 or 5 trips with him. I'd go from Richmond to Riverstone. I'd actually be pulling the brake and pulling the accelerator, pulling the train up on the station. Everybody think it was Dad, but I was sitting down there next to Dad on the side of the seat, and I'd be working the levers, and he'd hold his foot on the dead man's pedal, and sometimes his big cold hands would sit on top of my little hand in case he thought somebody was looking, because my hand was ain't little, and he had big cold hands, you know, because he was a train driver, and he, you know, the wind, and, you know, he always had cold hands, you know. But that was the fun times about when you grow up on the railways these days. That's something, so if I don't put this on video now and I pass away, no one's never going to know about these stories about these trains, what they did and where they went and who they picked up. And, what's another funny one? There was 4 guys coming here one night, and they, hi kid, you still there, kid, or are you gone? No, there's a guy in the chat, he's still there. So that's his name, see, look, see, MC Kid, Mr. C Kid. Yeah. Hi kid, how you going, kid? You're a big kid with a double D, aren't you? Right. Anyway, these couple of larrikins got on there with the guard that I said that brought in that big brown chair. He was a big ex-soldier guy. He had real big shoulders, you know, really, really big. Good, mate. He says, look, good, mate. How you going? All the way from Tenterfield. Hey, where's that bloody NRTV? You know, he took off, mate. He's a chicken. I'm here now on the same train he was in, he took off, mate. Oh, he's got lost turkey. No, there was another YouTuber come out here called NRTV from Lismore. And he comes through here, oh, this is the train, and he knows all about it. And he got it all wrong. He didn't realise that's your motor down here. Yes, NRTV, he got it wrong. That's the motors there. And that there is your radiators. They're the radiator boxes. That's what they are. That's what the radiators are. Because a big fan up on the roof and it blows the air out. That's where you get those big vents outside the wall there on the outside. And what happens is they suck the air in from outside in through the radiator and blow the hot air up there out through the top. And that's why, because then when it rains, the fan's blown out, the water doesn't come in, it just blows it away. See? But if it sucked the air in, it'd be blowing hot air out on the people out on the platform. Yeah. But I can still sit in the front of this train. I can sit in there and I can get memories of me driving out of Mulgrave and Windsor and seeing the people coming there with all their stuff and prams and just people in general, you know. Yeah, this is the train. She's your mother, sister? Partner. This is the train I drove as a kid. This is the one I was telling you about I grew up on. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, I'll tell you the channel later when I'm finished. So say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Hanson. What's your name? Geez, he's gone quiet. Don't they go quiet?
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, so what's another story? 622. What, did he come up again, did he?
TV. Frontline, Tenterfield.
Oh, hang on, where is he? Where is he? So is that line Tenterfield goes to Queensland? Yes, it does. It actually goes up the Queensland border to Wallangarra. Jennings is New South Wales side, Wallangarra is the Queensland side. And on the guide, they've got the Wallangarra Railway restaurant going. Never has been smoking here. Well, used to. See up there on the wall behind Mum, look, see smoking. Oh, terrible. People were silly. Yes. Oh, that's a bogey sheep wagon, by the way. That thing over all the bars in it. That's where they used to put the sheep in. That's why it's got little bars in it, so sheep don't get out. Little lambs. The cattle ones are a lot bigger. Yeah. Anyway, listen, I'm going to finish up this stream. Hang on, we've got somebody else popped in. Who's the other person on the chat? Somebody else is there listening. I've got MC Kid. I've got Kid. Who else is there? Somebody else is there. Anyway. Yeah, so they had a bit of a thing up here about, I don't know, me coming back, I suppose. I don't know. It's just memories, you know. I spent a lot of the last couple of years in hospital. And the only thing that made me happy was me thinking about sitting in here in this old train. Because you know those happy days you had when you were a kid and Mum and Dad and you went somewhere and there was this is my father. My father would be sitting in this train and my mother would come down and say, here's your dinner, Ralph. And she'd get the pot, and you know, the pot little that hooks on them, and you take the hooks back and lift up the little like a. And Dad would have his lamb chops already pre-cut up, and his mashed potato and his veggies and everything else and gravy, and Dad would just sit there basically with a spoon because Mum would pre-cut it up, so he didn't have to have a knife and fork while driving the train. He'd just sit there and use the spoon. See, and then occasionally she'd even give him bloody pudding and custard. All the other train drivers used to say, "Cross your bloody wife, spoils you, all in this train." So, I mean, that's the sort of stories you won't ever hear about anymore. It's all, you know, Dad's long dead and buried now for over 10, 12 years. All the other drivers have been dead, 15 years or more. And where this train went, Richmond to Windsor, the Seven Hills, Riverstone, they went out to, used to go out to Moree. This thing went up to Moree once or twice over its years. Ran on the Moreland Casino railway line for a while. And then they sent it back down to Sydney because it went up there because one train broke down. I remember Dad came home and he said, "Sorry to tell you, son, but your train's gone up to Moreland there where we go for holidays." So that's where this train went, up from here, Moreland Casino. And now that's all gone now. Now they ripped up all that train track. So, it's all history. Well, that sounds good. We've got a burpee over there. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Anyway, listen, people, I'm going to get off. I'm going to talk to these lovely ladies and we're going to have a talk about trains. See you later. So you will be good. Bye.